Good day to you, Jackson here. Welcome back to the Daily Endeavours for the 22nd of April. We've got a 10th fill 1.4k gold set with crafting alchemy, placing Parlor Furnishings, looting containers, defeating enemies, and dealing damage in Battlegrounds, Cyrodiil, or Imperial City. So I'm just going to rule this one out straight away. So it doesn't say in the tooltip, but it's actually to players. So I thought about just trying to go in and just bomb a bunch of just regular Dremora NPCs or something like that. Doesn't work, I'm afraid. You have to find players. And because of that, I think this one's very, very bad compared to the rest of these. This one's here, don't need to interact with players at all, so none of that's going to impact it at all. So I'd just say do these. Because, you know, it depends on the time of day. If you get on when there's not many players in Cyrodiil, it could take you ages finding someone. And the odds are, by the time you find someone, they're pretty... Most players on at that time are usually experienced ones, and you might die before you even get any damage in. So this one here, it's a lot easier to just like fail it, whereas this one's here I think are a lot better. Alright, so I'm going to start with looting containers, because you can... I mean, these are here, I think are all good. This one's fine as well. But yeah, definitely these are the choice, because all of these you can kind of do without much walking around. It will take a little bit of resources, but because it's 1.4k gold for each one, you will make the gold back that you'd spend on any of these, like, pretty significantly. So I'll start with containers. There's 3 ways to do this. The best way, I think, is to go to Imperial City. You can also go to Cyrodiil as well. You need to be level 10 for this. My advice, if you're not level 10 yet, is probably don't worry about endeavors for the moment. Just get a character to level 10 first, enjoy the game a bit. But if not, I will show you some alternatives. So once you get in here, just look around. There'll be some weapon racks. All 3 of the safe zones, they're all different, but they are the same thing. So the Daggerful one, the Dominion one over here, no matter which one you choose, when you get into the first room, there'll always be some weapon racks around. Every item that you take off these weapon racks counts as a container. So the second best option requires you to have a DLC, so you're going to need Necrom. It's a little bit expensive, but if you've got access to this already, you come to this exit in the Outlaws Refuge, can be found here, just west of the Wayshrine. Going through this door to the Necrom Underways will bring you into a room full of urns. Every single urn that you can loot from here counts as a container as well. And the thing is, outside of the players that are in this room, this hallway, there's no NPCs in here, so there is no way for you to get a bounty if you take any of this stuff. Alright, option number 3. Come to this location here in Vocal Guard, just a little bit southeast of the Wayshrine. There's a tray here full of stuff. Take from this, that will all count as a container. An apple basket here counts as a container. And then there's an apple basket here that counts as a container. All the flour sacks and all that, they will all count. And it's also not classed as stolen, so you won't get a bounty. So those are the 3 ways I would suggest. Okay, Parlor Furnishings. So if you don't have a house, or if you don't have a parlor item, I suggest coming to this location in Daggerfall. There's one other item that's cheaper to buy as a parlor item, but it's DLC related, so I'll talk about that one too, but just in case you don't have the DLC. So this place here, if you need a house, just come to this spot. There'll be a lady here you can talk to. If she's not here, it'll mean you've already talked to her and you've got the house. So explore the dialogue, you complete a quest, and then you go to the map section, and then you go houses, go here to the collector tab. There'll be a house here now, depending on your alliance, it'll be different. So after that, come to Rozika here, Home Goods Furniture, go down to the close to the bottom, there'll be this thing here, tea table carved. This is counted as a parlor item, so you just buy one of these, that's all you need. If you have the Deadlands DLC, But if you have the Deadlands DLC here, you'll be able to access this furnishing vendor and get this item here, Firegrave Pendant String, for a little bit of a cheaper price. It's not that significant though. If you want to try that though, you can find him in this area here, Firegrave, and then he is found here, Nif. Okay, so get your item, go to the housing editor, browse, go down to Parlor. Oh, I've got some ivory in my inventory. I think that was one of the How did I get that? Oh, yeah, I think it was from a giant boss in Blessed Crucible or something like that. Yeah, anyway, so we've got a tea-table here. All we do is just place it on the ground, and then what you can do at the bottom left, you see it says undo. Press that, and then redo, and that will count as placing it again. So you just place it down, spam the button and over. The other way, if it's already on the floor, what you can do instead is go to the housing menu, go to the item, pick it up, and then undo, redo, undo. And that will also count as placing it twice. And then at that point, from now, anytime a Parlor Furnishing comes up as an endeavor, you can just do that. You can just repeat that process. So just pick it up, undo, redo, undo, and just go about your day. Okay, crafting with alchemy. I suggest using poisons and the poison solvents, because with poisons you get a base of 4 items at a time, meaning that you're going to be using less resources to do this and spending less money, basically. So TLDR, use any poison solvent. Ica is probably the one you're going to get access to the most. If you can get some Alkahest and use it, if your alchemy is max level, that will be the best, because it's the cheapest by far and it's the most plentiful in guild stores. As for the reagents themselves, there's definitely some you don't want to use, like Columbine, Dragon Blood, Dragon Ram, but most stuff's usually fine. So you might find some of this stuff in the wild and try and use it together and it won't work. So in order to know what stuff works and what doesn't, you look for what it says here. So inert means that it doesn't work, and hold on, let's go to find. Yeah, here we go. So unknown. This means it will work. You just don't know what things match together yet. So you can use that. So if I just do this, it'll now show me what it is and give me the info on which one works. So just make sure it says unknown before you try it, like that. And yeah, as you can see, you only need to do that twice, and that'll count for the endeavor, because points make 4 in a row. Now, if you are higher level in alchemy and you unlock the chemistry passive, this increases the number of items you get per crafting attempt, and if you get 1 point in this, it will mean that you get 8 items at a time, which for this endeavor will mean that you just need 1 of each. Alright, so now I'll go to the 4th option that I think is fine. So we've got defeating 40 enemies. Now I know that sounds like a fair bit, but you do need to understand, compared to the rest of the ones like class kills, scribed ability kills, all that stuff, this is closer more to the defeat reptiles or like stuff like that. You don't need to get the kill yourself. That's the good thing about this one. If you just, as long as you're in combat with enemies, as long as you basically hit them once, and even then, I'm pretty sure, even if you don't hit them, as long as they're aggroed to you and they die, that means you get the kill. So basically, what that means is you don't need to try and segregate yourself from the rest of the playbase to get this done quicker. You can do dungeons, trials, you can do dolmens, you can do public dungeons. You know, it might be wise, like it can be helpful to find a place on your own, because it'll mean that you're not waiting for enemies to respawn, but there are places where enemies respawn fucking quickly, and you can just run with someone else while you're killing stuff, and as long as you participate, basically you'll get some kills. So I'll just go through some options that I usually like to talk about. So one is definitely dolmens. You won't get 40 kills from a single dolmen, but you'll get quite a few, and you do get a fair bit of XP compared to some other methods as far as dolmens go. Because as long as you participate, it gives you a fair bit. But with dolmens, the more players there are, the more enemies there'll be. So if it's not busy, this will be slower. Yeah, you can see there's a few players here. If we get one more enemies will start to pop up. There's another one. Yeah, here we go. So someone rocked up. So now, basically, once there's a couple of players, it sort of doubles the amount of enemies that you can get usually. Yeah, I should take the time to test if it counts all of them. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's not... I don't think I counted that one. No, I didn't count that one either. Yeah, you do have to do damage. But you don't have to kill them, which is nice. So how the dolmens work is the more enemies you kill, the more these pinions will get filled up by souls, and they'll open up. And in order to beat the Domin, you need to just close those 4 pinions, and then this one will show up, and then you get a big dude. Now, when you close these pinions, these 4 smaller ones, the 4 minor ones, I guess, you get resources back. So if you are on your own, you're like putting all your eggs in the damage basket, and you're running out of resources, you can hit one of those pinions around the side and get heaps of resources back. Just keep that in mind, because when you're on your own, it can get quite your endurance will be tested usually. Just bad. Resources ain't like they used to be. So I don't consider Doms to be the best option, just purely because there aren't that many enemies that spawn at a given time. But it's just that it's easy, because the enemies just spawn so quickly. It's not too bad. But if you can, I think finding things like public dungeons, things like Spellscar, Elenir, with how many enemies there are, and especially Scourge Catacombs, especially if you haven't done the weekly yet and you want to do that, definitely consider using class kills, especially like class AoE setups to get tons of kills that way as well. The only issue with using public dungeons for this is if there's other players, class kills will be a pain in the ass, because unlike this one, where you don't have to get the kill yourself in order for it to count, this one here you do, so it's a bit of a pain. But yeah, public dungeons are great, because as you can see here, you can just come through, and there'll be big groups of enemies that you can kill en masse. And then you just keep moving, there'll be another group here. And I mean, that's already like 10 enemies, or 15 enemies straight away. So yeah, public dungeons is going to be great for this too. And yeah, the best thing for Skyreach, which is my personal favorite for doing this many enemies, especially when you get the ones with like class weapon abilities, squad abilities, all that shit. This place is instanced, so no matter what happens on the outside, players, as long as they're not in a group, can't actually interact with the enemies in your version of Skyreach. So it just means that when you get inside, none of the enemies will be killed by anybody else, so they'll be ready for you when you're ready to just go in and kill them. So it just means you spend less time messing around waiting for shit to spawn. So if you have any questions, as always, just give me a holler, but that should be Daily's complete for today. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for your support. I will see you next time, and take care.